Hey guys,
Hello, everybody.
what's up? Today we want to talk to you about the art of timeouts
So when to take them,
and when not to take them,
what to look out for.
and really how to structure them. Let's do this.
So when should we take timeouts?
We should take timeouts when we're starting to lose momentum. When we've been on a roll and now we're on a downward spiral. We feel like for a few minutes now, we've been out of flow. So we're losing momentum and we want to catch it and make sure we have a timeout to rebuild our momentum.
Yeah, momentum is basically an energy thing. You guys can feel it in the game. Either we don't get momentum from the start, we just kind of go like 0-2, 0-3, 0-4. Then we can also call a timeout there because we never had the momentum. Or when we have it and it just starts to shift, catch it right away. Maybe give your players, if you're a coach, give them a second to like one round to see if they can figure it out, come back, maybe catch the momentum back. And if not, just call a timeout right away. Catch it right when it's fresh. Secondly, we want to call a timeout when we're just losing round after round after round. Not really just a momentum thing, but the fact that the strategies are not working, something's not clicking. Just catch it, stop it, see if you can add some fixes and recalibrate the group thinking and see if we can turn it around. Not from an energy place, but from a game standpoint. Maybe people are lacking a bit of confidence or something. Just see if you can catch it right there.
Exactly. Speaking of when people are kind of off, there are two scenarios in which we want to take a timeout. Either someone just made a big mistake or they had a huge ace or something like a big success in the game. Why both? Because when you make a big mistake, right after you get in your head and you don't realize it in the moment of. So the round after, the 2 rounds after, you might need a little bit of a breather to deal and process what just happened. Same with an ace. Your adrenaline and your nerves are so high in the moment you were flowing, but right after you might experience a crash. So make sure that you're taking time for your team or one of your teammates to recalibrate. Another time where you want to take a timeout is when you're in the lead, we're winning, but things start to feel like they're panicking. Things start to feel like they're starting to get messy, out of order, and kind of chaotic, right? When we feel like things are too rushed, we might be making mistakes in that state, and we might be losing sense of our controls and our comms, right?
Getting sloppy.
So even if we're in the lead, this is a good time to take a timeout.
Last but certainly not least, there's probably a million ideas, but we want to give you this one. When you feel like you just want to cause a shakeup, maybe you have a read on the enemy team, you can call a timeout. It kind of messes with their momentum, their flow. It kind of keeps the game fresh. So you can call a timeout just to mess with things and see if you have a good read, just throw it in there and really solidify your win. So now, when do we not call a timeout? I'm going to be honest, there's not many times when you shouldn't call a timeout, but those times when you really shouldn't is when we just absolutely have the momentum and we do not want to throw it away. It's like crucial that we just stay in this wavelength. We keep doing our thing, let the team react to us, and then we can react back to them. So don't call a timeout when we have that going on.
Also, you don't want to take a timeout when we're just 1 round down. It's always like we have that instinct to kind of jump in and call a timeout if one thing doesn't go our way. But really, your actions reflect a vote of inconfidence in your team. Because they will feel like, oh, we can't handle ourselves. Let them rebound back. Let them mentally grab themselves. Allow 2 rounds at least to be kind of in the system before you intervene.
Yeah, we want to have trust and make sure that the players feel that trust and only catch it when we feel like there's something we need to do about it.
What should we look out for? So after the team that chose to call a timeout, not the other team that has time to talk in that timeout, the team that really wanted the timeout and called it, they might come back a lot stronger. Why? Because after you call a timeout, there's a sense of bonding. If done right, there's a sense of good energies, a reclaiming of our momentum. They can get 1 good round and the whole game can turn right around, right? We've seen that many, many times.
100%.
Yeah, so you don't want to let them grab the new momentum. You want to shut them down. So even if you need to be a bit more aggressive or more surprising, make sure that 1 round after the timeout that they called, you bring it your A game, okay? Because you need to prepare for that because they will come back stronger.
Yeah, and this is actually crucial. They are going to come back stronger like 99% of the time, just like you would do in your own timeout. So if we shut it down there, we'll like completely kill their mental a lot of the time. So really take these rounds serious. Don't just use it as a breather. Say, oh, they need a timeout because they're struggling. Take it like we're going to shut them down right here, right now.
Yeah, this is a mental warfare. Once you shut them down once, it will be very hard for them to bounce back up after that round when they lost, when they just had a timeout. It's very defeating.
So now how do you structure the timeout? The first thing we want you to focus on is who's talking,
Yes.
right? And this is kind of an obvious thing. The first person that everybody's going to think of is the coach, and that's absolutely correct. This is the 1 minute, 3 minutes, whatever game you're playing, where the coach has time to actually be in the game and help you guys and be in your ears.
Yeah.
So let the coach talk. He's been thinking this whole time what to say to you guys and how to present it. And he only has a limited time, so let him talk, get the most value out of what he has to say, and then we can move it to the IGL, to the players. If you guys have ideas as well, we want free-flowing ideas, but definitely let the coach put in his input here.
Yes.
It's really important.
Exactly, because you won't have him or her after, right? You won't have that person. So make sure you give them that time to speak up. And you also usually have a little bit of time after to regroup among yourself when they need to mute. So a second thing we want to talk about in terms of structure is the kind of energy that we bring and the kind of energy that we create within that time. Because as a leader, whoever is leading that time out, you want to make sure that you're carrying the energy, you're bringing the energy that you want to be receiving. If you're like this, and you're like rushing yourself, the energy in the words that you'll be talking to won't be carried out the way you think. So control your own self before you show up, and then you'll be able to deliver the things that you actually mean to.
Yeah, it's about setting the tone in the right way. And a lot of this also comes down to pattern recognition. Mm-hmm. As the coach, as the leader, you know your team. Yeah. You also know who you're playing against. You've probably done some prep for them, mm-hmm. written up a scouting report, all that stuff pre-planned. So see what's actually going on in the game. Yeah. Is there a strategy that we're not doing well enough that we can fix? Let's go over how we can do that better. Is there something we can exploit? Is there something that they're doing differently that we weren't expecting? Is there something in our energy or in our comms and our confidence that we need to just motivate the guys to be kind of in the way that we need it to be?
Yeah,
so it's pattern recognition. Notice these things and then put it from that tone, create that energy about what we need to actually accomplish here.
Yeah, so show up the best you want to present yourself, then identify what's going on, what is needed, motivation, fun, slowing down, speeding up, more energy, less energy, maybe they're too hype, whatever it is, and then deliver with a focus on that.
The way you want to deliver your timeouts is in a clear, concise, and efficient, focused way.
Yeah.
That's really what's important here. You have limited time, mm-hmm. so you really want to make the best out of it.
Yes. So practice with yourself. When you body read for a second, think to yourself, if I were to take a time out right now, what would I say in under a minute mm-hmm. or the time that you have? Therefore, you're going to be able to do it in real time. So there are 5 things that we recommend to do in a timeout. The first thing you want to do is really make a plan. So when you're listening to your team playing, write down the things that you want to say. So you want to focus on making a plan of, I'm going to spend 20 seconds talking about this, 20 seconds talking about this, and 20 seconds talking about this. We're going to give an example in a second, but make a plan.
So adding on to that, for number 2 is you want to cover anticipated adjustments, not just the next round in front of you. Like most of the time, a lot of coaches we see call a timeout and they just deal with the next round.
Right.
They give a full loaded plan about what we want to do here, and then we try to win that round.
Yes.
But what about the rest of the half? Depending on when you called the timeout, the rest of the game, you want to have this like predetermined idea about what you can do. Think steps ahead. Think of it like a chess game. So just really calculate those adjustments more and give this to the team as much as you can. So step number 3 is really build momentum. Remember in the beginning of the video, we talked about momentum. You can either lose momentum, gain momentum. So your timeout should be geared around building momentum, not just building momentum for the game plan, not just building energy momentum, but overall overarching momentum. How can you get it? How can you create it and give it to the players so they really take it and run with it?
So number 4, you want to make sure that you remember that this is a time out to physically and energetically also relax. That's why we time out. There's, right? You want to do a lot of things. There are strategies. You want to be concise and everything that we talked about. But allow a few seconds to just, just take that time to regroup and refocus so you can reset.
And so step number 5 is basically bringing it all together. We feel like it should be a really balanced experience in the timeout. And so in no particular order, we feel like it should be broken into thirds. 1/3 focusing on the enemy team's movements, adjustments, things you need to look out for, your team's adjustments, things you guys can do better, things you need to talk about. And 1/3, not a little bit less, 1/3 is the energy of the game. things that is going on within your team's little bubble that you can address.
Right, because if things are too quiet, you can assume that people are starting to get in their heads. You want to address that. Don't forget that as a leader, you're not just an in-game leader. You are a motivator, a teacher, whatever you need to be in that moment, right?
Yeah.
So a third on them, a third on us, and a third on energy. What is happening energetic-wise?
The vibes, keep them up.
Vibes.
So I hope this helped, guys. I hope all this structure and ideas can really help you maximize your efficiency in your timeouts. And we want you to remember, this is like an art form. It takes practice to perfect. It's not going to happen overnight. Play with it. Sometimes you might be really game focused. Sometimes you might be really mental and emotional vibes focused. But you want to bring it all together to get the best results.
You got to find your own style and think about what matters to you to be vocal on in those times out. And pretty much things will work themselves out from there.
Yeah.
So we hope this helped, and we'll see you in the next video.
Go run with it, guys. See you next time.
Good luck.